Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm going to be talking about reparations. This is a topic I've wanted to discuss before, but never really had the opportunity to talk about it. And I'm just going to lay out the basics for you because it's really, to me, a simple question. Yes or no? Reparations, right? Question mark. Yes or no? Let me explain to you. I have here on the screen some instances where reparations were paid out. Right, I'm going to go through them, show you what they are. Of course, that's President Reagan right here. This is during the one for the Japanese internment. But let's go through them one by one. So we have first one is for the Holocaust, right? Next one we have is for apartheid, South Africa. We have the Japanese internment. We have the forced sterilization, which happened here in America. We also have the Tuskegee experiment here in America as well as Rosewood, also here in America. Now, this is a document that you can see for yourself. I got it from Vox just by typing in, times that reparations were paid or to what groups were reparations paid. So these are 6 examples that they have. Now, why is it to me simply a yes or a no issue? I'll explain that to you right now. If you say yes, then obviously those that have showed you, you have a good faith basis of saying, listen, these atrocities have happened in the past, and based on what has been done in the past for these people, we can go forward and say yes. How they're going to structure it, I don't know. I have my own inkling of how it should be done, but I'm not going to give that information for free. If the government wants, they could pay me an arm and a leg for it. Notwithstanding, that's how I feel about it. If you say yes, then okay, all of these did matter. Although if you look at the amounts, you can tell that those for the Holocaust got way more than anybody else. But that's whatever, right? Not really important to the point. Now, however, if you say no, what you are doing is basically invalidating all of these times when reparations were paid. Now, you have to understand, these are atrocities that were known at the highest level of government, even sanctioned. You understand? Now, when you have something like that happening, when you have the higher up sanctioning things that are taking away people's humanity, essentially, who do you think is supposed to be held responsible? Just the average Joe, or does it have to go higher up? Right? So this is why the government has to get involved and say, okay, listen, something has to be done here. We got to print these people some money quick, fast, right? I'm pretty sure if you add up the last of these, they don't even come close to the money that was given to Ukraine recently. I did the math, just cursory looking at it, and yeah, Ukraine got a lot more on this. You could do it yourself. All right, as I said, I got it from Vox, so if you type it in and you see the Vox site, you read through it, you can basically see that for yourself. So to me, it's straightforward. You say yes, then what it is that you have to come up with is a way that you're going to make these disbursements to the descendants of slaves. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know that the government is willing to do so. They seem to be leaning on the side of no, but by saying no, then right away is you shut down like a lot of people, because there are a lot of people that have voted this particular government into power, Democrats that is. So they don't want to say that. But it's basically a yes or no. Well, we need to do research and all this other stuff. That's BS. It's nonsense. It's crap. You could just come to a consensus and say, yes, okay, we're going to pay $1 million, $2 million, right? Obviously, there are black people within this country that do not need that money. We have super wealthy athletes, entertainers, people that are affluent, Not a lot of them, but enough that there's certain families that you don't really have to, like, oh yeah, you may need, you know, a leg up, right? Let me read this first one to you and let me give you proper context so you'll see how this money affected one certain group of people. Now I'll read it in its entirety just for context, right? So this is if it's a yes. The closest analog to reparations for slavery and Jim Crow is probably the reparations that West Germany agreed to pay after the Holocaust. A major component was the $7 billion West Germany agreed to give to the then young state of Israel. Coates goes into the Israeli debate around the reparations in some detail. Menachem Begin, then the leader of Israel's conservative opposition and later its first right-of-center prime minister, opposed the deal on the grounds that it appeared to forgive Germany in exchange for money. But the deal eventually went through and the consequences for Israel's well-being were astounding. Did you hear that? They accepted the payment and the consequences were astounding. I said astounding, good or bad? Sounds like it might be good. Let's go on. Here's Coates. By the end of 1961, these reparations vessels constituted two-thirds of the Israeli merchant fleet, writes the Israeli historian Tom Segev in his book The Seventh Million. From 1953 to 1963, the reparations money funded about a third of the total investment in Israel's electrical system, which tripled its capacity, and nearly half the total investment in the railways. Israel's GNP tripled during the 12 years of the agreement. The Bank of Israel attributed 15% of its growth, along with 45,000 jobs, to investments made with reparations money. But that was actually a tiny fraction of Germany's total reparations payments, which totaled nearly $89 billion as of 2012. And largely went to individual survivors. The terms of the reparations, most of which are negotiated by the Conference on Jewish Material Claims against Germany, which negotiated about $70 billion of the total, are constantly evolving, with some payments made on a one-time basis and others as monthly pensions of varying amounts. The conference has a good breakdown of the various funds and how much they've paid out here. Right, now obviously this situation is different from slavery. Hitler was only around for a few years, right? Slavery is something that lasted hundreds of years. So to find out who are the exact relatives would be difficult, which is again why I say I think I have my own strategy. Notwithstanding, they're sending, money to people, totaling $89 billion in 2012. That's 11 years ago. Who knows how much it is now, right? But they made sure that they have paid them. So I would say in this case, if it's a yes, then yeah, you can find a way to do it if you wanted to. As I also stated, there are people who don't need it, obviously. There are, people who are affluent. There are some affluent blacks in the country, true enough. Are the majority affluent? Obviously not, no. So yeah, there are people that could do, I guess, tremendous things with that money. Now, obviously, for you to get that money into your hands, you would have to, as a prerequisite, be financially literate. Like, what am I going to do with it? Obviously, diversify. You're going to do stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, going to open a small business. You and some friends develop a bank. I don't know. There's so many things you can do if you're given, a good chunk of change. But the thing is, a lot of people aren't financially literate, and then they get the money and blow it. So my only thing with that would be that if people were getting this money, they'd have to be, properly educated on what to do with it. Because when you get a large chunk of money, your goal should be to keep as much of it as possible, right? Because Uncle Sam, that greedy SOB, he's going to want his. So what are you going to do to make sure that you continue getting? You know, you could, I don't know, buy an apartment building, you know, buy some real estate for whatever. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do. I have like a whole bunch of ideas. If it was supposed to be me, of course, I know what I would do it. But everybody's different. But yeah, like I said, it's a yes or no issue. Yes, you figure out how much. Is it going to be structured? Is it going to be annual? Is it going to be restructured going forward? Or is it going to be a one-time thing? If you say no, then obviously all these payments here and all the suffering that these people went through, you have just invalidated it. And let's be clear, this is not all of them, right? These are just some of the atrocities that were committed. I mean, you have people like Stalin, Chairman Mao, what's the other one? King Leopold, right? Committed atrocities to the tens of millions, all right? So that every time these things happen, I think the people at the highest, you know, the pinnacle, government, quote unquote, they need to be held responsible. Now, here in the U.S., it's a very litigious place. I find it very strange that that has not gotten to the highest court. But then again, I think I know why. You know, they can print money for everything else, but for this, it's like, you don't really want to do it. But as I say, it's a yes or no issue as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, that's my spiel for now. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it for everyone you know. And until next time, I'm out.